Modern day debates.
My name is Andrew Wilson, host of The Crucible, popular entertainment channel on YouTube. And today I'm going to be debating five different people on five different topics for 5 minutes. My next topic is moral diversity is a weakness, not a strength.
Mike D.
So when you're saying moral diversity is not a strength, are you, I'm assuming, referring to, is this like tied into the nation state as far as like if there's a predominant ideology or ethic
It's
system?
not a strength for anybody, whether it's a nation or not a nation.
Okay.
So having a divergence in ethics between people or a divergence in morals between people only brings conflict. It doesn't bring any sort of strength whatsoever.
Okay. So, I mean, I'll just agree, but like what's, because of the time restraints, like what's like, I guess, the meat of what you're getting at? Like what's,
So it's probably not a good idea for nations or people like this to import people groups that don't share their same values.
okay. And I mean, would you agree that America specifically is a bit of a, like,
Yeah.
we've brought in a lot of,
Yeah, it's a big weakness that you have people who have different values than the set core values for America, which I would argue would be Christian ethics.
okay. And, but I mean, and I don't want to assume, but I feel like I've heard you mention before that America is one of like the leading countries against a lot of European countries. A lot of what we do is right. And so I'm trying to figure out
What
like,
do you mean? A lot of what we do is right.
well, I mean, that's, it would depend on the situation, right? But
Yeah.
I don't know your position on America, like where you think we stand on the hierarchy against like the European
We're the
nations.
most powerful nation in the world. That has to do with the fact that we're isolated for resources and we don't have any enemies on our borders, which European nations do.
Okay.
So the thing is again, even in Europe, this is a big problem. They have the same problem with what they call Asians that they're bringing in, which are Muslims, not having the same shared ethical value as the population which is there. It's a total weakness.
Okay. So let me dial this back then to the main point. Are you saying that we should continue to keep the countries all segmented, just like let all the, Muslims live over here, Christians all live over here, and just sort of like let them duke it out as they will? Or because you mentioned earlier how like
No, I'm saying that bringing in people groups, right, to communities or to nations which don't have the same shared ethical foundations as those nations going to lead to conflict. That's what I'm saying.
right. And as we mentioned earlier, though, like I think you kind of seem to allude that like conflict is a pretty natural progression on these things if it's all arbitrary. And so
Yeah, but if you want to reduce conflict, then you probably don't want to bring in people who
mhm.
don't share your ethical foundations.
But like these people exist, right? So I guess, are you proposing, well, what's your take on immigration then? Like what do you think an immigration
I
system
think
should look
that
like
I think that we should probably stop the immigration system altogether
altogether?
unless it's for the purpose of work and instead promote our birth rate increasing through various forms of government, what you would call propaganda, but what I would call rhetoric.
I I know this isn't exactly what you're saying, but I'm sure you can see how this sounds similar to like superior race breeding. Like,
How?
well, I
Yeah,
mean, you're saying
how?
like let's not bring in outsiders, right? Let's just continue to grow a population of
Like
this particular.
Japan? Japan doesn't bring in outsiders. Are you saying they think that they're a superior race?
No, not necessarily,
Right.
but well, maybe I actually have no idea. But
No, they don't. It has nothing to do with racial supremacy.
but is Japan necessarily? And I don't actually know, but like, are they anti outside groups?
Yes, they don't allow immigration except for the purpose of work. Very rarely.
Okay, and how would we say Japan is as a nation, right? I mean, don't they have like the highest suicide rate of any
It's
nation?
due to honor culture, and by the way, our suicide rate's quite high. And
Yeah,
not only that, just to point this out, there's very low crime in Japan. Very, very low. Safety standards are very, very high.
but
The country seems to be doing very, very
in
well.
a lot of ways, right? But I
Yeah,
don't think any one system works in every situation, right?
yeah.
So Japan, for example, they have a lot of issues with their honor system. What if you bring in outside groups that maybe don't adopt some sort of honor
Yeah,
system, right?
but the problem is if you take away the thing that gives them their cultural cohesion, like let's say the honor system in this case, and you try to replace it with other things, you begin to destroy the culture itself. That breeds animosity between traditionalists and reformers.
I,
This is a big problem, and all it does is lead to conflict every time.
I guess where I would disagree is if we're not. You can certainly argue it's eliminating certain cultures, but I think that this is more of like a breeding of cultures, right? I mean, this is how all of human history has evolved: is different groups, admittedly having conflicts, and then arising at some sort of new culture.
Well, then
right?
by this logic, why don't we all just kill each other until the dominant culture is the prevailing one?
Well, I think part of what we learned as a culture is that violence isn't the best way to move forward.
So then reducing it by not bringing people in who have different ethical standards than you seems like a good idea.
I mean, but like, does it necessarily have to be violent? I can agree that it does happen violently, but if we can conceive
What if the
of
other
ways,
culture is we will be violent if you don't conform to our system?
well, maybe we don't let those people in.
Yeah,
But
maybe we don't let those
But I
people
don't think
in.
that. Oh, all right.
Yeah, man, these people. So I know this is the same group of debaters from the last few 5 versus 1 with Andrew Wilson, and I think they have these guys here, and I think they tape a few different episodes in one sitting, so that's why they're the same gentlemen. But man, are they not so smart? And it's the brainwashed type of way of thinking. Like this guy can't fathom, like, hey, not letting other people in here. In his mind, he's been propagandized to believe America is the melting pot. We just let everybody in, like a lot of the lefties here. Now Andrew's absolutely right that if you're bringing in people with different moral and ethics systems, it's going to cause problems. I recently saw a video the other day where a Muslim man went into a liquor store and told them, you can't sell, I think it was cigarettes. Like, hey, don't sell cigarettes. That's haram. Don't sell those. Listen, you're free to do whatever you want, but if you don't, then there's going to be problems pretty much. The Muslim didn't threaten violence, but he was, insinuating that, yeah, we're going to have protests outside your store until you stop selling the cigarettes. That's a different moral and ethical system. Our moral and ethical system, they're legally able to sell cigarettes. Even though cigarettes are bad for you, a lot of people still believe, okay, but you should be able to sell them. But to that man's moral system, that's haram. We can't do that. Same in France. There's another video of a Muslim man. A guy was just sitting around playing music. He was just playing his piano. And a guy sat down next to him, told him, hey, my friend, don't play this music. It's haram, pretty much. And he was pretty much like threatening him, like, yeah, don't play music. It's haram. It's offensive to me. To the Muslims, that's morally offensive. That's immoral. It's haram. To us, playing music, playing piano, there's nothing wrong with that. So do you want a bunch of people like that coming in here and dictating to us how to live our lives? That's where the problems come in. So that's where Andrew is absolutely correct.
Thank you, Andrew.
Yeah, no problem.
Howdy.
Hey,
All right. So we don't need to get into like epistemology and everything, but can you just give me a working definition of what you mean by moral diversity?
you mean, yeah. So we're talking about moral values. We would just be talking about the grounding foundation that tells you what you ought to do or ought not to do in the sense of conformity to the society. So that's what I would mean by moral foundations or structured foundations.
So you're saying that having multiple ways of saying this is right or this is wrong is not beneficial.
Yeah, that's right. It's going to lead to conflict.
Sorry, but we agree again. The problem that I'm going to have as an atheist is that I don't believe you have the justification to say that your moral structure is automatically superior, such that we don't have to, bring in, secular aspects.
Sure, I'll just use the same justification you have. Force.
But are you like, okay, then if you're just willing to kill everybody who doesn't agree with you?
No, it's
like,
not kill everybody who doesn't agree with you. It's just to
So
say that
force by-
I don't have to
force
let you
meaning
into
what?
my society, and I can use force to keep you out of it.
You personally?
Or what if I was in charge of the society, or as a person who's participating in the society for what I advocate for?
But you're not in charge of society. So what do you?
So what does that have to do with anything? I'm
Because
talking.
you
I'm,
just said you wouldn't
I'm a
let if you were. So
participator.
I'm trying to
I'm a
understand.
participator in my society. Yeah,
Right.
I have some
As am
limited. I
despite
have
not
yeah, I
being
have
a
some
Christian.
limited amount of political authority. Right,
Uh-huh.
very limited, but it is there.
Uh-huh.
That's right, and so I can
So
advocate.
you're talking about voting.
Well, in this system, it would be voting,
Okay.
or it would be rhetoric to sway people, things like this. But what I would try to sway people against is letting people in who have foundational differences in values.
So then how do we determine, and fair enough, again, I agree, but I don't think that there is such a thing as a one true north of morality. So how do you then get there? I mean,
The same way every culture gets there, same way Japan got there. So you're saying that the Japanese their way of morality is not actually correct, right? Because there is no correct way.
not super familiar with Japanese culture, but they seem to be doing pretty well.
They seem to be doing pretty well. How did they decide that though?
Again, not super familiar with
Yeah,
Japanese
well,
history, but
they
I'm
decided it
imagining people
because
of
as
that
a
culture
people
wanted
group,
that.
they said our foundations that we have here, we
So the
like,
question was,
we
though,
like a
how
lot.
do
We're
you
going to
how
keep
do you
them.
determine the true north of your moral authority, whether it's God or Christian ethics, whatever? How do you, if we're getting into that, that's your claim.
Yeah.
You need to verify that. I understand you believe
Verify what? What's my claim?
that Christian ethics are the truth north of
No,
morality.
no, that's your claim.
I just asked you that.
What's my claim? My claim is that bringing people in who have a diverse foundation from the people group that you have, which is moral, will create conflict. That's my actual claim.
Right, and I said I agree with that. So moving
There's no
beyond,
moving beyond to
Okay,
now
so
I'm going
then-
to change the claim.
cool. We can say, I mean, the sky's blue. We can just
Yeah.
say things that are true.
So it is true.
Yes.
Okay, so then wouldn't you want to mitigate that?
Yeah.
Okay, well then I guess we agree that
mean-
we shouldn't bring in people who have different moral
So
foundations.
you're specifically talking about immigration.
Sure, immigration. Yeah.
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 I mean,
Well, then I think.
But I feel like you just. I feel like you feel like you did a thing
What thing?
that, like, oh, I have this base thing that we should have our morality together. We should all believe the same thing. Like, that's what most people believe. No.
No. You just said that you don't believe that.
I didn't. I know. I said it's true that that the diversity of morality is not as beneficial as if there were a true north. If I believed in a true north of morality, I would say yes, we should all follow
Yeah.
that.
So if
true north.
all
So you're
people
saying there is a
believe,
true north.
no.
So-
You're making.
I asked you
listen, bro,
specifically.
I'm going to
So
tell you.
let me ask you again.
I'm going to tell you so that you know when you're talking about this. All that would matter is that the belief was shared, not that it was true.
Okay.
Yeah.
But fair.
Yeah.
Would it be better if the belief were true and shared?
I don't know if it would be better.
Well,
There's all sorts of beliefs that you could believe that may not be better than others, but I can guarantee you, if you bring in beliefs that are not shared, it's going to lead to conflict.
If you don't know that your morality is the true north,
That's not
then-
what. Wait, nobody said that. What I said was this: just because you believe in a thing doesn't mean it's better than another thing. That's my statement. So that's true.
yes.
Just because you believe in a thing doesn't mean it's better than something
so
else.
What I'm getting to is, suppose there is an ideology that works better for society, gets us closer to God than Christianity. How do you know that doesn't exist?
I'm not making the claim that I know that exists
Then
or
why
doesn't
then
exist.
are you saying Christianity is what we should be following
What the-
instead of searching for that?
Where did I say that?
Is that not your position?
What's my position? Tell me my position.
The diversity of morality is not good.
Okay,
Where-
yeah.
where
And
did
so the word
like-
Christian, where was that? Where was that? Anywhere?
This is the same thing with your last one. Man. You're just saying things that are like kind of most people agree.
Except you.
stupid ass. Freaking this moron. Yeah, like he tried to make it about Christianity again, Christianity and atheism. I don't know why. I don't know. Was he still stuck on their previous debates on this same taping? I don't know what was going on with him, but he kept trying to make it into a Christian thing. That's not the prompt at all. Christianity has nothing to do with it. He's just talking about, is it good to bring in people that have differing moralities, and is it not going to cause conflict or not? That's the whole issue, which is bottom line. It is. I mean, people with different moralities in the same family is going to bring conflict there. So imagine a whole country bringing in all sorts of people that share different moralities and beliefs. It's going to cause conflict. It's a given. And I don't know why that dude kept trying to make it about Christianity when, yeah, Andrew Wilson mentioned nothing about Christianity.
So is diversity of opinion a bad thing?
Sometimes.
How so?
If the opinion is moving against the foundational beliefs of a people group, I think that they would think the opinion was a bad thing.
Can you give an example?
Yeah, let's say you have a country of Muslims and you say, I don't think Muhammad's a prophet.
Right.
That's an opinion, right?
Right. No. So
Do you think that would create
diversity
conflict?
of opinion is a good thing at that point? Do you think it's bad?
Yeah, I think that, well, I think they would see it as being bad. So let's separate a couple ideas. Whether I would see it personally as bad or not really has nothing to do with the claim of they would, right? And so therefore, if you have a foundational belief structure for a society and you bring people in who in any way are contrary to that belief structure, it's going to necessarily create conflict. So it should be avoided if you want to avoid conflict.
Why do we necessarily need to avoid conflict? Because conflict resolution leads to the best outcome.
Then,
So why is conflict?
then why
necessarily
shouldn't
a
we
bad
just
thing?
be in perpetual conflict then?
No, we shouldn't be in perpetual conflict.
I thought it
but-
just led to the best outcome.
So then why shouldn't we just follow the rule of law based on the Bible and not have conflict? Doesn't conflict go with? Do you believe in evolution?
What does that have to do with anything?
I'll get there.
Okay, let's say I do.
Yes or no?
Yes,
You do.
sure. Let's say I do.
Honestly?
No, but let's say I do.
Okay. So things evolve just
Yeah.
like people have evolved.
Yeah,
So beliefs and rules of law evolve.
yeah,
Morality evolves.
yeah.
Do you believe that?
Let's say sure.
What
I
do you
think
mean,
it's-
What do you mean? Let's say sure.
Because
yes or no, dude?
regardless of what I believe, the outcome of this conversation will be the same.
Why are you
Okay,
pretending to
we'll
believe?
try it the other way then.
Yes or no?
Here's my actual position. No, I don't believe in evolution.
Literally.
Literally.
How old is the Earth?
Who cares?
I'm asking you a question. Just,
Yeah,
and if
I'm
are
asking you to
ashamed
stay on
are
topic.
Are you ashamed to answer the question?
No, are you ashamed to stay on the topic?
It's relevant
Tell me how.
because if you don't believe that the Earth is 4.5 billion years old,
Yeah.
do you not?
What does that have to do with anything?
Oh my God, dude. All right. So you are just denying the evolution of people, of the earth, of ideas, and you're just stuck on one belief system.
So
What do you mean so?
so what? What does that have to do with my claim?
What's your claim?
My claim is that if you bring people in, if you have a foundational morality for your society, bring people in who don't have the same foundations, necessarily going to create conflicts. So it's a bad idea.
Why is conflict bad? Evolution, right? Don't you think that
Because-
conflict?
I'll tell you.
We're debating right now.
Yeah,
Do you not believe that? So you believe in debate,
sure.
and don't you believe that the best argument should win?
Well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure you can win a debate.
So I don't know how you could support a debate format
Yeah.
and think that. So debate is what you're arguing against. The whole premise of
Yeah.
debate.
So if you weren't here, would I be debating with you?
No.
So if you were somewhere else other than here, I wouldn't be
What does that-
debating.
what does
Stop,
that-
stop.
What does that have anything to do
If
with
you
it?
were somewhere else other than here, I would not be debating with you, right?
Correct.
So then there wouldn't be any conflict.
Correct. And
Okay,
then
great.
Where would that get us?
It would. I mean, I would go about my day. Fine.
Why are you even here at DebateCon?
Well, here, unfortunately, you're a participant in my society.
What does that even
It
mean?
means that necessarily because we have different foundational belief structures, there's conflict.
No, but you're here at DebateCon, right?
Yeah.
So you believe in debate. You believe in the promotion of superior ideas, right? So
Well, not
so-
necessarily superior ideas. No.
no. You believe in the two ideas confronting each other, right?
Okay,
Which
yeah.
is what you're arguing against in this particular topic.
No, I'm not. I'm not arguing about whether or not
You are,
ideas
you're-
can non-violently be resolved through debate.
I'm not promoting violence, of course, but
Yeah. What do you think conflict leads to?
debate.
Violence.
No.
What happens
not
when debate
necessarily.
fails?
What do you mean?
What happens when debate fails?
What's that? What's the point?
The point is that if people come into your nation who have different foundational beliefs than you do, okay, than your nation does, that's necessarily going to lead to conflict, which is necessarily
Why
going to lead to
necessarily?
violent conflict.
No, it doesn't.
It
Not
does.
necessarily.
Okay, show me where,
Yeah.
where that
Right
doesn't
here,
happen.
we can debate and we can disagree, and we don't have to
The
have
violent
violence.
conflict in the United States based on foundational beliefs is the number one reason it happens. Number one
What?
reason. Yeah.
We're to back that up. We're based on what?
If you
Where's
ever
your
heard of the
data?
Civil War?
No.
What? Oh, well, what was that all?
What
What
kind of
was that
question-
all
what
about?
kind of question is that? Come
What
on,
was
dude.
it about?
Huh?
What was the Civil War about?
Don't ask me silly questions.
It was about a distinction in foundational beliefs.
You're asking rhetorical questions.
What? Rhetorical questions? What? Dude. Again, these are the same people from the same taping, and it seems like they just get worse. Like they just get worse. That guy didn't do well the last time either in the last video here in the 5v1. And it's like, oh, okay. So he could ask Andrew about evolution and how old he thinks the earth is. Oh, but Andrew asked him, oh, what's about the Civil War? And I was like, you're asking rhetorical questions. I mean, I don't even know if he knows what a rhetorical question is. But anyway, you know, he he keeps insisting, like, well, it doesn't have to. Like, when has ever great leaders? I mean, yes, there are negotiations that could take place before violence is usually the last resort. But what happens when the negotiations they keep going nowhere and neither side could win a debate or get their ideas across, or they can't come to some sort of compromise? Well, what's the last option? What is the last option? It's usually violence. That's the logical conclusion to whenever there's a conflict. Now, this guy claimed that, oh, yeah, whenever conflicts are a good thing because that's how ideas evolve. Like, that's how a society evolves pretty much. And it's like, well, no, not necessarily. It doesn't always just evolve. He's coming from a place like, oh, two sides that get together, they talk about it, and then they come up with an even better idea. Sometimes that could happen, sometimes, but a lot of times, no. I brought up earlier the example of the Muslim telling the guy to stop playing his music or else. That guy wasn't willing to listen. He wasn't willing to listen. Those are his hardcore foundational beliefs that music is haram. There was going to be no changing his mind. And if the guy didn't stop playing his music, then he would have suffered consequences for it. Doesn't always, and if you have a whole people invading your nation, a whole group of people, and they start to eventually outnumber the original population, well, then eventually what's going to evolve to is, well, music is now illegal here, pretty much. Music's now haram. You can't play music. That's what eventually happens. It usually gets taken over either way. What Andrew says makes complete sense, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if these guys just had to come up with a counter argument or they just really felt that way. It seems like they really felt that way, but it's pretty common sense, logical thinking. So good on Andrew here. There is one. It says versus 5, but there's a few minutes left. So I don't know if there's one or two debaters left, but you could watch the whole video down below. So there are other debaters after this. This was not the entire video. You can watch the full video down below. I have the link in the description. Please subscribe to my channel. You'll help me out a lot. Please also hit that like button. Leave a comment. Let me know how you felt about this video. And if you like seeing Andrew Wilson wreck people in debates, I have a whole playlist for you on the screen that I think you'll enjoy.